What about the team, Chad, of
Team Protest?
Team Protest of No Golf on the Dead Planet team? You would think by now the scoreboard would indicate, you know what, when we do our monthly meeting to suggest how we're going to get word out about, climate change, since we're the climate activist, storming the 18th green at the Travelers probably wouldn't be high on the list, given the fact that, pretty much been there and done that on a multitude of different sports landscapes, and you've either been tackled or dragged off the floor or not shown on camera, in which case that's the general rule for any broadcast. And you're still having to suggest storming the 18th green
We have
as a possible change in perception for whatever you're trying to do.
Are we going to go to this, or are we going to show? Oh, here it is.
There we go. So
Get out of here!
Get out of here!
you got you have the paint, tried but true. Not one ball marker. You didn't go after one ball marker here to just really put everything into chaos.
Either of those people know what a ball marker even is when they stormed the green.
They knew how to get there
and did that. By the way, the response from the crowd tells you everything you need to know. Who's running these organizations? Who's funding this project, Hutton? That's a common question, right?
This guy right here, he's funding it. Kicking over.
By the way, this guy who's a big Save the Planet guy kicked over a bunch of nice flowers.
Yeah, those flowers
next to it.
Dead,
That seems to be self-defeating.
Those flowers were in the earth.
When you're doing that. These flowers are not organic. These are not to the earth.
No
I will
golf.
kick these over, too.
No golf on a dead planet.
These guys just screaming, too. Incredible. I want to know who's funding this project and why anyone believes that this is the way to get your message across to the masses in a way that's going to change hearts and minds. Someone got in a room or got on a Zoom call or something and decided, we're going to penetrate the American psyche. We're going to storm the green on the 18th of the Travelers Championship, an event that nothing but probably 45 to 80-year-old men are watching on a Sunday afternoon. 45 to 80-year-old men, as everyone knows, 45 to 80-year-old golf fans really are demographic of what we're looking for here, that are going to agree with our messaging and or have their minds changed about the climate, the environment, whatever it is that they're protesting. Who's planning these missions? It's not Nick Saban. Nick Saban's a way better planner than this. I just don't understand how anyone believes that storming a sporting event is the way to protest anything at all, and that people believe it's the sports fan. And you got to be a sports fan to be watching the final round of the Travelers Championship, right? If you're on a Sunday late afternoon, sitting on your couch, I see nothing but grown men in recliners taking a nap and then steadily waking up when they hear the crowd roaring, watching golf. And then they woke up to the chant of USA, USA, FU, FU. They woke up to that because these protesters took the green. Who would even know what they're protesting? I went back and watched the actual footage on the network, and you don't know. Again, it blows my mind that people out there believe this is the way to affect other people. I'm going to get my message across. I'm going to change hearts and minds. Because if you're protesting something, I would think that the end goal is to change someone's mind or to affect change. You're way better off calling your local congressman than you are storming the green of the Travelers Championship and doing something like this to get yourself arrested. That is my message to protesters everywhere. Keep your hands off our sports. And also, if you really, 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 really care about what you're doing, and you think that this is a detriment to not just society, but human beings all over the planet, think of a way to actually constructively get some change done, as opposed to getting yourself arrested and kicking over a rose pot on your way off the 18th green. That concludes my message to protesters everywhere who want to protest sporting events. It's stupid. It doesn't do anything for anyone.
Yeah, especially when you have, 5 of them? Was it 5 that were taken away? So is this like, was it 2 years ago? Was it last year during the playoffs where you had the meat protesters? Remember this? They were in the Timberwolves game.
It was this year. Or was it last year?
No, it wasn't this year. It was last playoffs. It would have been last year or 2 years ago when they were handcuffing themselves to the court. Is that what they were doing?
They handcuffed themselves to the goal. I think.
No. They were like super gluing themselves to the court.
That's it. Yeah, that's right.
And just thinking about like what. Okay, so you rip your hand off of the court and they just carry on about with play.
It was April 26, 2022, 2 years ago.
Okay,
is when this happened.
So you have that going on. You have Bobby Wagner just straight up flattening a fool who, in very similar fashion, I don't know if it's the same type of activist, similar fashion, running onto the Super Bowl surface, and you've got a Rams linebacker, Bobby Wagner, during a timeout, just waylaying this dude, which I applaud. So some people are like, "Oh, how dare!" I'm like, "You there's a dumbass tax. This guy paid it that night. You're going to run onto the field, and who knows what you're doing at the Super Bowl? You're going to Bobby Wagner in full pads. Sure, you're going right at him. You're going right by him. He's going to stop you just like everyone else is chasing you too. Here's the dumbass tax being paid in full. Same type of
look at this dude
smoke bomb
getting sandwiched.
Yeah. So like I'm thinking, yeah, of course they're going to be. You're going to have the police officers or whoever drag them off. You also had the officers chasing them through the sand trap, the bunker. During this, you've got Scheffler who's just kind of like smirking, going, "Okay, what are we doing?" And I'm thinking, like, if you're going to take chunks of the green with you? No, you're not going to do that. You're not going to even move a ball marker. You want to put things in just topsy turvy. What happens when they're shot down and Scotty Scheffler can't put his golf ball back down, Chad? That affects change in this tournament. Not joking anymore here. It's just dumb. It's stupid. And I view the climate activists, quote unquote, as just attention whores who, if they had more than 5 people, they'd go out and sit around a green and would refuse to move, and that would actually disrupt whatever we're doing. I don't hope it doesn't get to that. And if they don't do the sporting event, they'll be, doing something down Broadway with signs that people would just walk by, like those that say turn in your Bible to, James chapter whatever, and shout at you with a megaphone.
The megaphone preacher is always a fun
I view
one
all
too.
of them the same way. It's just you keep on walking. And in this case, keep on putting, finish out the tournament, win another one, and go on about your day. Because I'm guessing all 5 of them woke up today the same way I did. It's still hot outside. And we did play golf. Even if they claim it's on a dead planet.
I mean, I guess the whole thought is you got to get the ones that are the most opposite of the way you feel about something to really change anything. I'm just always perplexed that this is the route they feel like they need to go to do it. And this is going to get someone like my dad is watching this tournament in between napping, and he's going to think, man, you know what? I need to do something about this planet after these guys did this. I really do. I need to do my part. This shaved head woman that just stormed the green on the 18th has convinced me with that shirt that I am now going to do my part to save the planet. I don't know why anyone thinks that's going to be what changes everyone's minds.
And, I mean, what this leads to ultimately, which I hate, is just more and more and more and more security. Because you get in with, white and red powder is what they were using, the spray powder.
Yep.
You have they leave stains on the grass before they were carried off. And in the rush, in the actual moment, you don't really know what's going on. You don't know the intent. It's like whenever you're running onto the field of the Super Bowl, Chad, you have all of this security, and you still end up with those that'll get on they've still got in with I call it the smoke bomb. I don't know what it was. I just hope it doesn't escalate to something even crazier, and then you have a real just wacko who's claiming to be climate activist that really just goes above and beyond whatever we're seeing here, which is just laughable, into something that actually is gives you a reason to leave running.
Well, and
because again, that's what I think of whenever, because in the moment you don't really know what's going on.
I would think the worst. If I saw someone running onto something and doing that, smoke bombs and stuff in the air.
Yeah.
Like my initial instinct would be, what in the hell's going on? And it wouldn't immediately be, oh, these are just loser protesters.
Right.
So I'm glad everything turned out okay and no one was hurt that was out there. But when you do something like that, you are taking the risk that someone in the crowd or someone with security or a police officer on site or someone is going to think the worst. Well, and the worst could end up happening to you.
But the heightened security, you're not you're searching for, you're going through the metal detector. You're not going to catch a lot of this stuff, right? And you're not going to be able to stop anybody from jumping over a railing or a guardrail and storming onto the field or something. But like, what really happens to these people after they're taken off camera or off site? I don't really know, because we know a guy that threw a catfish on the ice, and he was originally charged with
crime, felony.
Originally a felony. It was, what was it? A weapon of
mass destruction?
No, it wasn't a weapon of mass destruction. It was a weapon of disturbing the peace or something like that. Weapon of mass destruction.
No, it was not a weapon of mass destruction.
He'd be in Guantanamo right now.
Yeah, he'd be being interrogated as we speak at this point.
Yeah, it was. But was he actually ever?
But it was something it wasn't mass destruction, but it was something so ridiculous and so over the top.
Yeah, it was an instrument of crime is what it was called.
Yeah.
He was charged with using an instrument of crime. He threw a catfish onto the ice in Pittsburgh. Did they take him in and charge him? Yes. Did they do anything after that? No. Was he lighter in his wallet? No. Just the gas money it took to get there. I don't know if anything actually happens to these people who are just running around with white and red gas and paint.
The legal definition of an instrument of crime are any items that are specially made or adapted for use in a crime. In other words, objects that are commonly used for criminal purposes. That would not be a catfish. That was a pretty easy defense on our buddy's part when he brought a catfish into an event as a celebration.
Well, and they charged him with disruption of the peace, disrupting all that stuff.
Yeah, it's really, really dumb.
But it's still it leads me to just ask the question, like, what is the proper way to curtail this? Or is it already to a point where it's not happening that much to where we give it more amplification by showing and figuring out whatever the hell's on their T-shirt? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would think something.
You don't see that on the broadcast.
I don't even know that this would help, because then it would just amplify the situation in the opposite direction. But something really bad would have to happen to one of these protesters when they did that in a miscommunication type deal to curtail people from doing it in the future. And I don't even know if that would stop people. And I'm not rooting for that to happen.
No, I know.
But I'm saying it would take, like I said, someone coming out with a smoke bomb, and then someone that is armed doing something, and then a loss of life or serious injury happening that would make some people think twice about doing that. I also think that a lot of the people that are doing this are mentally ill to begin with, so I don't know if that would even be a deterrent. But when I see mentally ill people doing things and storming a public area, my first thought isn't usually, oh boy, let's laugh at these protesters and chant USA, USA. It's, oh God, I hope they're not going after people on the course or someone else, or they're trying to do something crazy.
Yeah.
And that's where we live right now. And that's what goes on all over the place. And it's sad that our minds immediately go there, but it should. And you should always be vigilant of things like that. So I don't know what's going to stop it.
Think about everything else, too, like just tongue-in-cheek here. Everything else that was going on yesterday across our planet, but no golf. We can't play golf on a dead planet.
That's a good point.
We could do literally anything else we wanted to.
Do they not storm Coachella? I don't even know if Coachella was going on.
I mean, is there
Burning Man? Is Burning Man happening right now?
They have not Bonnaroo was last week. For all I know, these people were at Bonnaroo.
There's a lot of places in need of public water facilities all over America this weekend with that heat.
There were Americans at Renaissance festivals across our country yesterday. They can host Renaissance festivals on a dead planet.
You can't go put smoke bomb on a LARPer somewhere. It had to be a golfer. I don't get it.
They're swinging sticks too.
Right. Sticks are being swung all over America.
On a dead planet, Chad.
I was at a softball tournament. There was no smoke bombs there or protesters.
Also,
How dare you get out here?
No softball.
By the way, a lot of trucks, a lot of gas guzzlers in that parking lot that I was at, too.
Little League softball on a dead planet, but not golf.
A lot of
trucks.
No
golf on a dead planet.
I don't want to give them any ideas, but a lot of big pickup trucks in that parking lot. Mine included.
They'll get more than
a lot of gas guzzling going on.
They'll get more than just asked to leave. I know that. And you know this was...
you don't want to roll up on certain events.
No. The gas guzzlers.
We live in the South, and we know there are events that you can go ahead and guarantee 90% of the people at the event are strapped. You do not want to try anything.
Look at Scotty Scheffler here.
You will F around and find out. Now there, it's fine. Metal detectors, everything else, that they should be okay. But
look at Scheffler. He's absolutely going to obey all traffic laws. He's made sure his turn signal was on when he entered the course that morning. And here he is. You got to be kidding me.
Well, why also, as we look at this photo, really dissecting?
Hey, enjoy the sandwich.
Why are both...
Enjoy the breakfast sandwich when you
Scotty
get to
Scheffler
get to the can.
Incredibly funny. Why do both cops look like they're like fake cops? Like to me,
like
they both look like they could be like strippers. both of their uniforms are a little bit too big. Like they're going to like the guy with a beard, especially.
They just came from
looks
an
like
Eminem video shoot.
He's about to tear off his uniform and have something else on underneath it. Get us the fake cops. Get them out here so they can march them out.
No golf.
I mean, those are real cops.
I mean, I hope so.
I think.
What if they're a part of the protest?
But they do look like they're playing a part of cops. That does not look like the snug-fitting police uniform I normally see. There's something about that looks very fake.
Well, they were playing the part of just making sure the barricade was up for Scotty Scheffler to get another trophy. And instead, he did. He just... If it was well planned, Chad, a ball marker would have been moved. Correct?
And yes.
You go after the ball marker.
They don't understand golf to that level, though.
You have to. How do we affect change? How do we get Scotty Scheffler on our side? We move his golf ball.
Also, if the planet does die, all right, if the apocalypse is coming, like the protesters are saying, what's the point? Like if you're them, is it just to say, hey, when the planet burns up in 5 years, and we're all dead anyway, we're all vapor at that point? At least I can say, well, 5 years ago at the Travelers Championship, I did something about it. I took our future in my own hands and my own feet when I stormed the green of the 18th.
Can we go back to the second video? Just enlighten me here. I hope that this man right here believes in reincarnation and he comes back as a rose who was cut down and then kicked down by an idiot while he's being dragged off the course.
I will be foliage in the fall. In the new planet that is saved by me that does this. I don't want to sound so, defeated and everything and be real dark and bleak about it. But like, if you're them and you really think, this planet is over in my lifetime, then... But what does it matter? What does any of it matter at that point?
We're not supposed to be playing golf, Chad.
Well, I look at the opposite. If the world's about to end, play as much golf as you can.
No golf, according to these
If
five.
you love golf, Colin here in studio loves golf. Get out and play golf while you can. Pick up the sticks. Let's go.
The dead golf five.
The planet is over. Might as well get as much golf in as you can. 36 holes a day if you want.
Now, Jay Monahan 2 years ago would have had us believe that it was LIV that was behind this.
Mm-hmm.
Right? LIV. They're the anti-American players who are like, they're moving on. They're leaving you behind.
Can we let's show the photo one more time of the woman that's getting taken off in handcuffs by the fake cops that I think are fake cops? Jay Monahan would have you believe that she was behind the planning of 9/11 as of 2 years ago.
Yeah,
that this happened.
And she's no different than any golfer who defected and wanted to go and play for the LIV Tour.
Rory too probably would have said the same thing.
Rory would have echoed it because he was a puppet. And Chad, it's not if, and it will take more time, but it's only a matter of time before LIV and LIV Golf and the LIV Tour take over. And I say that with the background of the last week that had, I had no idea about these teams for LIV, like the structure of it, the relegation, how you have a cut line and then you have the dark zone where if you're in a certain area, you're in the unsafe zone where you can lose your spot on the LIV Golf Tour. Love all that after learning about it. And number one, the money being made and the fact that, well, the access is probably about the same, having not like really, I haven't been able to dive into the PGA Tour, but the access for the media, probably not the same. And when given the access that OutKick had on Thursday of last week, and then going back Saturday and Sunday, Chad, it was awesome. And knowing that, well, you've got Jay Monahan 2 years ago, who I believed, you know, the Saudi money, you can say whatever, it's there. The money is there. It's crazy. But, you know, I didn't see one turban on the course this weekend. And 2 sellout crowds back-to-back on Saturday and Sunday would probably say the same thing. I didn't see it with Citigroup or Bank of America or Cisco Systems or Marriott or Facebook or Boeing. I can go on and on and on with the money that's being invested from Saudi-backed funds. And the same goes for LIV. What I did see, Chad, was Bryson DeChambeau bring the U.S. Open trophy with him and then contend for the championship in Nashville. He was in the final pairings yesterday whenever they teed off for their 56-hole round. And I saw star power throughout. I saw fan engagement. I saw players that were playing like crap that still stuck around and made sure that they talked to not just the media, but the fans that were there that were chanting specifically for players' name. Whether that's Brooks Koepka, who, from what I understand, isn't he's not the nicest whenever he's playing. I can relate to that. That's fine. Lock in, do your thing. Even he was giving some cheers and some toasts to the fans after his round yesterday. Chad, this is going to latch on as more and more fans across the country go to LIV events. And the pace of play is fast. It's a shotgun start. The other aspect to it is it's the star power. You're not seeing a lower level of golf like everyone wants you to believe. Every group, for the most part, has a player that you've heard of or you've seen contend or has a major champion in it. That's huge. And I don't have to hear about whether or not players are, you know, against one another or who's doing it for the money, who's not. They're all doing it for the money. They're all doing it for they're all doing it for the satisfaction of get mine while I can. And by the way, that's on both tours. And we still get to see the best of the best whenever the majors roll around. The only thing we're not going to see is every player who wants to be a part of or could be a part of the Olympics be actually a part of the Olympics based on the world golf standings. But when the rankings come out, while the PGA Tour still may be number one right now and LIV in terms of viewership and access and where to find them and all that, Chad, when the rankings are all said and done, there will be golf. It won't be a dead planet. It will be on LIV's terms. And it will be on a planet-wide tour, not just on the domestic side of things from the USA. That's where I see it going. They go from Nashville to Spain, from Spain to England, and then from England, I believe they're back here in Texas or Vegas, and then they're off again. I mean, it's nuts, but I think we'll see more of the team aspect eventually evolve. And the players that have jumped and joined, I don't even view them as jumping and joining anymore. I just think they're like everyone else. They just decided it was time to jump ship when everyone else, I think, sees the sinking ship that is the PGA Tour. In some way, form, or fashion, they're going to need an injection of money. The money is going to come from companies that are pushing funds towards the PGA Tour, but are also backed in some way by the money that everyone's trying to fly the flag about and hate. And no one hated Bryson DeChambeau this weekend. Just want to let you know. No one hated Phil Mickelson. No one hated Greg Norman. None of that. And I didn't see Jay Monahan parade around, and make himself available. You won't see that. I absolutely loved it. And with everything that we have discussed over the last 2 years, the actual product and the fan engagement and just the likability, I mean, it's entertaining. And that's going to win. That's ultimately going to win.
Well, in star power and television will ultimately win, or access for people that aren't at the events to go, to watch the events. And that's where PGA wins right now, is the television model and the contracts they have and how it's distributed is way better than LIV. But even, you're right, Hutton, about the access to the stars at an actual event. LIV has it right with the way they go about it with that. I would also argue, and I'm just doing kind of just in my mind thinking about this, if you had the top 5 to 10 superstars of both LIV and PGA head-to-head, who are the bigger and more compelling stars of the sport? Bryson DeChambeau, Jon Rahm, Dustin Johnson, Phil Mickelson,
Koepka.
Brooks Koepka. That's 5 that come to mind right there in LIV. Rory McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler, Colin Morikawa. I'm thinking about guys that are on the Olympic team also. Xander Schauffele.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he's on there.
I mean, these are great players, don't get me wrong, and they definitely have an international appeal with Oberg and guys like that are going to be sensational for years to come.
Wyndham Clark's on that list.
He's
going to be on the Olympic team.
I can't get excited about Patrick Cantlay or Wyndham Clark. I mean, I get more excited about the guys that I just mentioned for LIV. Sergio Garcia is a name that everyone around the world knows. Not playing as well right now, would not be winning a lot of PGA events.
Did you mention Spieth?
Jordan Spieth is one that
but that's to your point.
He's not played well.
No.
And he's not in contention enough for me to even think about right now. I'm not saying it's a runaway one way or the other. I'm simply saying if I gave you 5 to 10 of the top versus 5 to 10 of the top, there's an argument to be made that LIV is more compelling. Yes, there are some older guys in there. But what they have going for them is I know those older guys. Hell, I bet on Phil Mickelson to win the PGA Championship when he came out of nowhere and did it.
You
Why?
did.
Because I know Phil Mickelson. I don't know a lot of the guys in the PGA Tour anymore. So they are winning a bit when it comes to that. And I'll say this for Jay Monahan. In the beginning, they did a very effective job of publicly campaigning against LIV and making everyone, including me, have second thoughts about where the money is coming from, what this is all about, what it's going to do to the sport. They did a really good job in the beginning of their PR message to everyone in the media, anyone who would listen, everyone on their own tour, of getting the message out that to them LIV was evil. There's going to be the downfall of all of golf, but also everyone behind it is evil, and it's just awful for humanity. That has changed over time. We saw it firsthand this weekend. The perception of it is now different. And now that they have the star element with it, the only thing that's left is, well, one is the merger that's supposed to happen between the two, which I hope does at some point. The other thing is some sort of television streaming distribution that's better than what it is right now.
Well,
but they just don't have.
I watched their product, their streaming product, and their CW product. It's not bad at all. I mean,
the production of
it's very good, and they have the golf names behind it that you would want. So I mean, it's not far behind what is being advertised. Advertised meaning like it's not just some webcam. They've got the drones flying around pissing off Jon Rahm.
Jon Rahm doesn't like the drones. I'll tell you that much.
He hit it straight. I forget which hole he was on the front 9, but just cranked it straight into the water. There was a drone in his backswing and dropped a few F-bombs. Love that. Didn't say anything about the party hole though.
Yeah,
nothing. There was nothing wrong with the party hole. With we are the champions, or
F-bombs are being dropped
Morgan
by
Wallen.
Rahm. Jaeger bombs are being dropped on the party hole, and that didn't distract him at all.
So they don't have that at every single LIV event. I did some digging on this.
The party hole?
They don't. It's just certain occasions they bust it out, and I'm glad they did for this. It was awesome. So it was like a par 3, 122-yard, 15th, and if you made a hole in one, someone that had signed up for LIV X, whatever this is, you won $100,000. They were going to draw, and someone won $100,000. Some dude hit the flagpole, hit the stick. That's as close as they had to a hole-in-one. Chad, you better believe I was looking for the chance to sign up for that while I was there.
It was.
You had to sign up before you got there.
Hutton has a miraculous ability to work his way into any exclusive club or membership or upgrade anywhere we ever go. It's incredible. If you ask the right questions, you can get in anywhere.
It was awesome. And the difference in food access, drink access, I mean, they do it right. If like with us, if we're flying commercial, we'll be sitting in steerage, Chad. The steerage would be anything walking out across the course. Just have at it, right? You're on the grounds. And then to have all these different access points where you climb, you climb to the 15th hole, or what was it called? The birdie hole. That was it. The birdie hole, Chad.
Now, some of our crew that was in steerage for this tournament has a very different account of the access to food and beverage.
Oh yeah, well
that you had. It was. I think it was different down in the coal mines where these guys were out on the surface of the sun. Hutton was clearly in a VIP area.
No, I didn't say it was cool. I didn't say
but
it
I'm
was
saying
cool.
whatever access you had, I think was a little bit better. So there were some challenges.
They even have
elsewhere.
Alan Roach, who is like one of the voices of the NFL, announcing the golfers as they get up to the 15 tee. He is the public address announcer for the Super Bowl on location. Ladies and gentlemen, Phil. It's just like, man, where's Alan Roach?
So one of the buffers not available for them.
Yeah, I mean I guess they're under contract. They're doing another Saudi event, yeah.
I bet for the right price, Dana White would allow them to go wherever they need to go.
I think Dana. Funny enough, I think Dana may have been over in Riyadh or whatever for a fight this past week. Riyadh, yeah, might have been over there for over there with Vince McMahon in WWE.
Well, it was the access we had on Thursday was awesome and definitely different from most. But I haven't heard a ton of just awful experiences from this weekend. It seemed like everyone's having a good time. The weather had a lot to do with people not being overly excited about it, but it seemed like a really cool event.
Well, I mean,
I wasn't there for any of the actual tournament, but I was there for the pro-am.
They had a brief rain delay, just for 10 minutes or so. That was it. The other thing, it was a 1-year contract. I believe that's going to come back to a multi-year contract as one of the big stops on the tour.
Should be.
Did you know about the list that they have of guys that are like on the tour, but they're not actually a part of a team? Did you know anything about this on LIV?
No, I thought they were all a part of a team.
No, like they have certain like wild cards. Like Anthony Kim is not on a team; he's just a wild card. So
I know they can trade amongst the teams.
That's coming up. You're going to be able to trade, but like the wild cards are more or less just trying to show that they're legit enough to get picked up next year. And then if you don't rank in a certain number, a certain tier by the end of the season, you're relegated. Meaning you could be dropped.
And they move someone else up.
Or your captain can just sign you back to another year. So there is a little bit of pressure there. And I didn't know
love that.
And the team rankings, just one final thing. I didn't know this. For Friday and Saturday rounds, it's the top 3 of your 4 that go towards your team rankings. And then on Sunday, it's all 4. So if you've sucked all weekend.
Yeah, it's like a best ball kind of thing, but they're taking the top 3 instead of the best one.
They'll take the top 3 and combine it, and then the lowest score wins. And then if you've sucked all week, and then on Sunday, you're the 4th of your group for that week or whatever for your team, your score is going to really affect whatever you shoot on Sunday, even though you're way out of contention.
Yeah.
So that and the shotgun starts and everything, it's great. Omaha has been great. The championship game tonight. A national champion will be crowned. Tennessee and Texas A&M.